Okay, this is going to be a real quick 10-hour review on the Massey Ferguson GC 1720. Point out a couple things that I noticed that I like, a couple things that could be engineered a little better on the tractor. First off, it has plenty of power for its size and what it's intended to do. There's no problem burying it into the dirt and taking 3 inches of topsoil off, especially here with the hard clay that we have. It has no problem taking about 3 inches. You can do much more than 3, and you literally start spinning all the tires on it, whether it's in 4-wheel drive or 2-wheel drive. Front end loader works good. One upgrade, especially since I have a lot of clay that I'm working in, is going to be a tooth bar. Right now it's been raining a lot, therefore it has no problem peeling the dirt back. I think it's going to be a problem in the summertime when everything's dry and it's real hard packed clay. But I've been using it. Working on putting in a 35 by 35 foot stone parking area for my boat. And so that's what I'm doing with it now. I haven't got a chance to get to stone yet, but it's all prepped, waiting on the weather to stop raining so I can get the stone delivered and start spreading it out. One thing I noticed here with the front end, if you tilt the hood the whole way up, you notice the front of the grill starts pushing on the front bumper bar. So if you're not very careful, I can see denting the front screen, which Massey Ferguson includes a hood latch, which is what I always do and use it. While I got the engine open, another thing is I did buy the 60-inch drive-over mower deck and did get a chance to mow 4 acres with it here. And one thing is you definitely have to clean the screen after mowing 4 acres. It was probably halfway packed full of grass and debris. And the only problem with that is to clean it good, you need a shop vac. You pull it up, blow it out with an air compressor, that's fine. But a lot of the grass falls down and gets down in underneath there. It's kind of hard to see without the light on. But it gets down in there and basically will go right back onto the screen. So I just take a shop vac with a long nozzle, suck it out. Not that big of a deal, but it's definitely, they could have engineered that a little bit better to let the grass drop. That's about it as far as underneath the hood that I've noticed. Another thing I noticed is the backhoe has plenty of power, and it's actually more powerful. It'll actually pull the backhoe back, especially I've been working in real wet clay conditions. So if I grab a root with the backhoe, as you can see I got some there, and it'll actually tend to pull the backhoe, which kind of is like an engineering thing that could have been better. As far as you have your grease fittings here for your outriggers and your pad, and if they would have actually put the Zerk fittings on the backside, if the backhoe grabbed and pulled, you wouldn't be packing that area full of mud and dirt. And I did clean off the one side. This side I haven't cleaned off, and you can see how it just packs full in there. So that's another thing. And another thing also is once this becomes packed full, if you have your cleats dug in like that to get better traction, when you flip them back over, all the mud that gets stuck in here drops right down into this square. Now granted, it's hard to see, but it goes straight through. It's hollow. So I just kind of take a flashlight, shine it in every time I'm done with it, just to make sure I don't have mud packed in there and a potential for rusting it out internally. There you can kind of see down through it. So they could have just switched the pins. That would have been a better idea. Another thing is I did take the backhoe off the back. And when doing so, there's your 3 hydraulic hoses down there, which again are hard to see without the light. And 2 of the Pioneer couplings face up and 1 faces down. The one with the red zip tie faces down. So when you hook it up, I had a spot of oil underneath it that was hydraulic oil. And it was about the size of a quarter. I noticed it, wiped it up, cleaned it, and checked it out, and saw that the next day it was there also. Fired the backhoe up, moved it around, didn't notice any leaks. Talked to the dealer, and it's just basically when you hook your hoses up together, a little bit of fluid squirts out around the connection, and then will drip off in a day or two. So I kind of just didn't know that. Another thing that Massey actually points out, that they have a sight glass to check your hydraulic fluid, which is a great idea if you don't have a backhoe attached. With the backhoe attached, the only way I found to actually see it down in there is to take my phone, turn the flash on, take a picture, and hold it down there and take a picture. Then I can get an idea of the actual level. Because from this, with the backhoe attached, you can see it, but you're looking at such an angle, you're not going to get a real, true, good idea where it's at. So that's something they could have improved. On the fill in the back, they could have just simply put a dipstick. Get the light here. The sight glass is way down in there. Like again, if they would have just put it right there on the fill cap and dipstick built into there, but real easy to check with the backhoe attached. And about the only other thing I noticed that is a little goofy is if you flip the seat up and look down here, this is your safety switch. If you get off with the tractor engaged in drive, it will shut it off. One problem is with the seat down, if you're going down a hill that rolls to the right a little bit, I've noticed that the seat has a good amount of flex to the front and right. And I've actually had the tractor start to stall out a couple times going down some of the hills around here. And had to just be conscious to slide back further. And then then it just took right off. It wasn't a big issue. But that's just something they could have engineered a little better. Maybe put the safety switch in the center of the seat, and this is just the bar that grabs it, which sits off to the left. So if they would have put that in the center, it might have been a little better and not had any issues with that. As far as I can think, that's about it. I have 10.4 hours on the machine, and like I said, the weather's just been raining every other day here, so it's pretty much hard with daylight savings time and the weather and my work schedule to actually get any work other than on the weekends. Another thing I did notice is all the hydraulics have a little bit of play in them, as you can see. I've been told by the dealer that that's normal and it's not an issue. And I actually grabbed a hold of a brand new GC 1710s today, and they did the exact same thing when I went past the dealership. So that's about it so far that I've noticed, other than I do notice that the front tires is might be a little hard to see, actually lean out at the top and in at the bottom, but I don't believe there's any adjustment for that, and I forgot to look at that today when I looked at the GC 1710, but I did bring it to the dealer's attention, and they said that that's the way they're designed for when there's weight on the front end. I don't know if that's true or not. Didn't really look at one, so. But other than that, that's about it. I'll try to do a review in about 20-25 hours and see if anything has changed.